And now we're talking to Claire Henchy. Claire, you're welcome. You're here to talk to us about the annual swim on Christmas Day in Mountshannon for Raheen Community Hospital.
Yes, indeed. Good morning to you all. Happy Christmas and
Hi,
all
Claire.
that.
You too.
This is the 4th year that it's on in Mountshannon for Raheen Community Hospital, and it's been a great success. You know, there's we usually have about 50 odd swimmers. Dippers, swimmers, whatever you'd like to call them. And then obviously people come down, their families and whatever, just to donate and just to have a drink and just see us and just laugh at us. And just, there's a great atmosphere down there every year. Ger Kilkenny donates his van so that we can have music down there. So Pat Scanlon is the DJ usually on Christmas morning down
Very
there.
good.
So it's a bit of atmosphere down there.
Yeah.
And of course, you've mentioned before, it's not a swim, it is a dip.
It is a dip, yeah. A lot of people think, now there are a few that actually stay in for about 15 or 20 minutes. Yeah, they don't just go on Christmas Day. They're literally swimming, I'd say, nearly every day of the year. So they do go in for a swim. A lot of the people just literally go in, whether it be waist deep. Myself, I go in up to my neck. I dip and that's it, in and out in 30 seconds. So it's.
They say if you're not used to it, that you should just do very short.
Yeah.
Dip.
Absolutely.
It's very cold.
Yeah, it is. It is, but you know what? I started doing this on the year my mother passed away, which was 2016, down in 2 Mile Gate.
Yes.
And it was like, I remember one year down there and the snow, there was ice and it was absolutely freezing.
Literally.
Oh my God.
It was so cold.
Even thinking about it.
Yeah, it was so cold, but you know, there was such a huge crowd down there and they kind of lift you and you go in and you come out and everything is fine. But since it started in Mountshannon, we've actually been very lucky. We've had a balmy 10 degrees or 12 degrees on Christmas Day.
That's great.
So it's like by no means warm, but it isn't the freezing cold temperatures that we could very well have on Christmas Day. So
Looks good again this year.
Hopefully, like you wouldn't mind the wind and the rain. Excuse me. But it's just people come down. It's a lovely atmosphere even to see the kids on Christmas morning coming down and they're all, you know, they get their hot chocolates and they're with their parents and stuff like that.
Nice.
And they've been up for hours. Probably.
God, I'd say the
joys.
parents are probably fit for the bed. Yourself. We've all been there. They've been up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. But they do come down, and Aisling Cahill, thankfully, will open the cafe again this year. She'll be open from around 11:15, and local businesses have donated teas, coffees, hot chocolate, whiskey, of course, and Baileys. So there's something there for everyone if they just want to come down and have a hot drink. And like I say, just throw a couple of euro into the buckets for us. Yeah.
And there'll be people going around with the buckets.
They'll be down there. Yeah, and all I got Santa hats sponsored as well again this year. So every one of them, there'll be everyone who goes into the water will definitely get one. And if there's any left over, then they'll be there for anyone who wants them. So it's great. And this year we've been looking at, as you know, Vinny passed away in May, and you know, just from the family going in, we decided that we would get a recliner chair for the families that want to spend time with their loved ones in the palliative care hospice unit. Going on past years, we should easily get one, but I'm hoping that we might get enough collected to get two. So they'll be, we've already checked them out. So there's about a 2-week wait.
Okay.
So please God, they'll be donated to the hospital.
That's a lovely idea now.
And I think when people know what it's for as well, something specific.
Yeah, and like obviously when they get delivered, we'll get the old photo app.
Of course.
But that's what it's for,
that's
and
it's all about.
It is.
That's a lovely idea now.
Very practical.
Yeah, it is, and because it's not for the patients, it doesn't have to go through the same scrutiny as.
Okay.
Do you know that if it was for the actual patients, but it's for the families of obviously that anyone who's unfortunately familiar with that unit for Raheen.
I mean, it's a fabulous unit to have so near.
It's so close.
Not to have to be going to Ennis or to Limerick if you.
And I mean, obviously the staff inside there, they do a phenomenal work, and they're just.
And as you said, the palliative care unit is just so important. You can go in and out there at any time. Is it the waterfall unit?
Yeah,
it's just we've all been in there to visit someone or whatever at any stage, and to have a bed like that you could just have a snooze if you were with somebody that.
Because if you're there all day or all night, you would.
And it is, and it obviously it is stressful. It's, usually, you know, it's patients that have end of life and they just want to make themselves, obviously the patient is comfortable, but it's just the family that they can stay with them in some bit of comfort, you know.
Yes.
And that's basically what it's for this year.
Fair play. But the fact that you first had knowledge of what's needed too helps, rather than just saying, wonder what, you know.
Yeah,
nice
absolutely. I mean, and we, like, I know that the room that Vinny was in now, that there was a room off it and you could.
That's right, the couch.
You know, you got the couch and you have your cup
of
tea and you could have a laugh and just, you know, that,
just to get away.
You know, it's a celebration of life and just having the family there, that you're not, you know, crowded into, you know, to one small
room.
Round
bed.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very important for the family.
Exactly, just to kind of, I suppose, just everyone be there. And we were so lucky that Liam had actually arrived home that morning. He was scheduled to come home, and the 10 of us, the 10 first cousins, it was the first time we actually couldn't remember the last time the 10 of us were together. Yeah, so it was lovely. It was really lovely.
Nice.
Yeah.
And of course, Claire, you have a lot going on with Scariff Community Council. You're a chairperson.
Yes, we had the 10K run in conjunction with the National School, which was a huge success.
Right.
And
it was,
thanking everyone who came out. It was Baltic that morning.
On that.
We were on duty.
We were running around the high roads and by roads. It was a great success, and I mean, I know it was absolutely Baltic that day. I think we were all freezing. It was so cold, but it was dry, and we had a great turnout. And we raised somewhere close to nearly €9,000, which was split 50-50 then between the Community Council and the National School. Okay. So that was a huge. So that's the last fundraiser. Obviously, we had. The Riverside Park, as you all know, is ongoing. That's, you know, they're trying to get just keeping the repairs, hoping that the vandalism is kept to a minimal, but it's still going on down there. And
is it still going on?
Yeah, it is. And the fences that is, you know, between the park and the river are constantly being kicked into the river. We recently
that's
put
just
up.
Awful.
It's, you know, it absolutely amazes me that even recently we got signs, you know, to make it for dog walkers to please keep their dogs on a leash, and obviously to pick up after them. And they were dotted around the entire loop to let people aware.
Of course.
And we went down a week or later and they were thrown into the river, they were thrown into the ditch, they were gone. And it was like, seriously, like it's a park for everyone to enjoy. And I mean, you know, there's an awful lot of people that go down there.
To do that.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, obviously the dogs are a big issue. I mean, obviously there's so many people, responsible dog owners, they keep their dogs on a leash. But, you know, there are quite a lot of people who use the park that aren't as steady in their feet as the rest of us. Yeah. And they just can't have a dog running around underneath their feet and causing them to fall or trip, you know.
And it's a great... I'm nervous of dogs. Sorry, Trish. You can't have a dog running around.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone is you know, dog aware, you know, but I mean, and it's not even that, but there are people who are genuinely terrified of dogs and, you know, big or small, they're just terrified of dogs. And like I said, picking up after them as well, because, you know, wheelchair users do use that. People with mobility aids do use it. Yes. And when you've got dog fowl on the path, it's not, you know, it's, and again, we're just always saying it, please, just be responsible and pick up after your dog and keep them on a leach in that regard.
It's great to have it so near the town. I mean, and it's one care.
Yeah, it is. And now that it's lit as well, the lights, so that it is, I mean, obviously it's at least it's safe. And I know the Social Camogie Club use it for social running.
Yes. Yeah, there's running on a Monday night.
I think it's Monday,
Wednesday night.
Yeah, and it's great, and it's you know it's anyone
it's
safe and anyone can rock on. You know, you don't have to be on a schedule. It's just to go down, to get out socially and just meet.
And you can use it in any weather.
Correct.
You know, as in that it's not wet or it's not closed.
Yeah, it is.
And if you just want to go for a walk, where to safe yourself on your own anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And it's huge. Like, obviously the amount of people who started using it now or continue to use it during the winter months is huge, because obviously those lights are there and they're on till about 10:30 at night. So, and after that, then of course we all know the car park has finally started.
Yes.
That's obviously, as we all know, that they broke ground, I believe, about a week and a half ago now, and we're hoping that the car park and the hub will be up and running this time next year. That's what we've been told, but you know, I presume there's, you know, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
but, you know,
okay.
it is, and it's going to be absolutely huge. And obviously, you know, while they're doing the hub, the car park won't be in use because they obviously need the car park for the machinery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
But
we're hoping that the two of them will come online together.
And the green then, when do they think will that be?
Well, they're that's phase 2 and phase 3, and they've promised us that nothing will be done until the car park is in place. So we really, I mean, obviously our main concern was that car park and the hub, and
of course the green and the car, everything. This was county council. You know,
it's a regeneration.
Weren't involved as such. You were just told about it as such.
You know, obviously for the public consultation and stuff that we were brought on board, because obviously we knew the public, whereas you know they don't, not as well, they wouldn't know the public in Scariff as much as we did. So we obviously organised ourselves with the town team the public consultation and bringing people in and having the maps up and all that kind of stuff. So and then obviously while there was a lot of complaints that went in, or I don't know even want to say complaints, but just issues with it, we facilitated them, and we obviously had a petition because our big thing was the parking or the loss of parking.
Of course.
So that's what we did, but obviously they got, I believe it was 9 million they got from the department, and the council are topping it up with 2. So the project will probably cost in the region of 11 million, which is huge for Scariff. Yeah, it's absolutely huge amount of money. Yeah, it is huge, and like I said, it's badly needed, and I even think where the hub will be a huge asset to Scariff and surrounding areas. Not just Scariff. I mean, it has potential for outside broadcasts to go on up there, the youth club, you know, just even meetings for large numbers of people can now be held there.
Communal space.
And then,
but that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And Claire, looking at it, as you say, there is a lot of work, and they have the fencing up and all around for safety reasons. But as you're looking at it from the street, as you're looking into the tavern, you're talking about the hub, there's scaffolding and everything up outside what we would call the original tavern.
Yes.
The stone structure.
Yeah.
Is the hub going to be there, or is the hub going to be where Supermax was to the front in Sean Burns?
The hub is going to be where Supermax is, and that would be an upstairs and downstairs, like private meeting rooms. Private rooms to hot desk, but then there'll be meeting rooms for 6, 8, whatever number of people. So that will be all, like, that's the hub. But then on the back part, which it was the living quarters, will be a community centre, and also can be doubled up as meeting rooms if the hub is, is big, if it's booked out or whatever. So there's more potential for meeting rooms at the back. And just even if it's, maybe, a yoga class could go in there, or, things like that. And the rooms, one of the rooms, while it can, I think, accommodate up to 50 people, but it can be sectioned off into smaller
areas.
Yeah, that would be a great addition to the town when it's up and running.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So from what we understand is that obviously the main access then to the hub will be obviously from the main street, and it'll be literally, like I said, upstairs and downstairs, but that will be all hot desks and meeting rooms.
And in relation to the car park then, when you do park, which most people might be aware of, it's sort of behind Eddie Hogan's and Mike Max.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gardens, we call them.
Yeah.
You can walk up then to the street from the car park through beside the tavern. Is that up by Looknans and between that and the tavern?
No, if you go, we'll say, as we all know, what was the old where the concerts used to be on in the tavern.
Yes.
That's a flat roof. So that area of the building is going to be completely demolished.
Okay.
So it'll be the living quarter, like the stone building, will be kept.
Right.
But so that part where the concert is now will be an actual walkway. From between and as anyone who has looked in, you can see there's actually quite a steep elevation in that field. So they're going to level it as much as they can, but there's going to be a lift for wheelchair users to bring them up to the level of what will be, the path going up
the street.
Yeah. So then you can walk up there, and it won't be just a path. It's kind of like a green area. So there can be maybe an open market or something, because the buildings, they're going to have awnings off the side of the building. So if you're coming up from the car park on the right hand side, there's going to be awnings from the building, so that if needed, you could have I don't know, like a coffee morning or something like that down there. So it's not literally just going to be, a path with an alleyway.
Like it's
It's going to be.
Very good.
And it really is lovely. It's like a green area and everything. So that's the plan for that. So it will be lovely.
It'll be fabulous when it is done.
Yeah, and the courtyard.
And that will be done in about a year.
Well, that's what we're hoping. Yeah, because that's, like I said, they've already started clearing the site for the car park. So we're hoping that's the plan is a year. So who knows, we'll be back here this time next year talking about our fantastic open car park.
And in relation again to the car park, access to the car park, if you're coming in from my house, coming in the Mountshannon Road, how do I access the car park?
You'll be able to, as we all know, going down by the ambulance station is a one-way.
Yes.
So what the plan is to make that a two-way, so that when you come in from your house, you'll go up to the entrance, which will be about maybe a third of the way up, which is, the entrance into where the parking is now, just across. So you'll turn in there, and then you will obviously park, and you'll come out the same way. So originally there was talks of maybe coming out at the actual road, the main road, but they felt it was too dangerous. So what they've done is, what they're going to do now, that we'll still obviously be able to come down that hill, no problem, but it's just up until the entrance into the car park will be a two-way.
Oh, just to the entrance, it won't be.
No, you won't be able to go up all the way. Just the only reason you'd go up that hill is to go into the car park.
Okay, that might cause
that could cause.
Yes,
I can envision.
we have.
I met one of the workmen actually soon after they started. He didn't realise it was a one way. And he was kind of going to me like, I was kind of going,
sorry,
and
it's
I
a
put down
one way.
And I said, sorry, it's a one way.
But
he didn't realise which way it was one way.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going into the car park then, and when I'm coming out of the car park,
you'll have to go right. You can't go back up the hill.
Okay, so you're crossing over the traffic that's coming up.
You will be, yeah.
That could be interesting.
Yes, look, that is the proposed plan, because at the end of the day, like the path that's there, as we all know, I believe there's 7 car parking spaces there across from the ambulance station. They're gone.
7, okay.
So that will obviously become part of the road.
Right.
So the road itself, the footpaths. Obviously, there's a footpath on either side outside the ambulance station, and obviously there and that car park.
Yeah. So
basically, the way up, what are now those car parking spaces, will become the road up.
Okay.
So while it's, as we all know, when you come down, it opens up into 2 lanes. You go left and you go right. Yeah. But the turning right now will be the traffic coming up against you.
Okay.
It
will cause confusion.
It will be interesting.
We'll wait and see.
It might work fine.
But like I said, that was the only way, and it was the road planners and the safety people, as we all know, they were the ones that felt that if you were to come out, we'll say, like I said, on the main road, it would.
Well, you could see how that would be an issue. That could cause issues too, coming out on the main road.
Yeah. And as we all know, I mean, it doesn't happen that often. But obviously for the Harbour Festival, there's a lot of parking on the path down there, and it would. The vision, the view of the road, and even with the fire station, I keep calling it the fire station, the ambulance station. There's actually 2 points there as well, but they mainly use the entrance coming out.
Yes.
They don't come out on the main road, even though there's an access there.
Yes. Okay.
So I think that's what we've been told, that it was just a safety issue coming out there.
So really, you're saying nothing is going to be done in the street or in the square until the car park is finished.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, which would be at least a year.
According to that's what we're hoping, that it'll be done within a year.
And how long do they think then all the work will take? Is envisaged with all the work in the square and around the green, everything in the town? How long would that?
The dates that have been mentioned would be, I believe, around the end of 2026, going into 2027. So it's nothing.
Okay.
It's
not going to happen today or
It's
tomorrow.
not going to happen today and tomorrow. And I mean, obviously, as we all know, the plans are in place, but, there's still some consultation work to be done in the background by the council.
To tweaking maybe, or whatever.
Tweaking, that's a good word to put it, yes.
Very diplomatic.
Yes, indeed,
Okay.
yes, indeed.
Okay, so obviously, things like the Patrick's Day parade, or if there's a celebration for anything, that's not going to be affected in the next 2 years. The way things
Oh
are
gosh,
going.
no,
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously, as we all know, part of the plan is to have a shared service outside Max, between Max and the Market House, so that if we'll say on a Sunday, you could have, if during the summer, you could have, I don't know, outside music or something like that, so that there's only traffic going down, outside the chemist and the post office.
Okay.
But that's what a shared surface is. They originally wanted to pedestrianise it, but that would just not work for Scariff.
No, that wouldn't
work.
ever
It
work.
just
Well,
wouldn't work.
at the moment, Harry's Corner, the electronic store corner, they're an accident waiting to happen because
Well,
nobody
yeah,
knows who's the right
yeah.
way.
No.
It's
Well,
we've
we
all
all
seen
know, I mean,
accidents.
look at, the amount of buses that now service Scariff and
Yeah.
the East
And
Clare
park in the
area
middle of
is
the street.
huge.
Yeah.
And there's no place for them to park. So if they're parked to collect or drop off passengers, we all know, just to go on the other side of the Market House, that there is
Yes.
a plan B,
Yeah.
And then
there's
if
an
there, was
alternate.
if there was only one side,
Oh, it would be,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Crazy.
That is
yeah.
a problem because you do come up the street, as you say, most of us are aware we're right, but they just park in the street outside the post office. No,
Yeah.
they have nowhere to
They've
park.
no place else,
They
yeah.
park in the street outside the post office while they're collecting or dropping off
Correct.
their passengers.
Yeah.
And some people do get very frustrated with that.
Well, that, you see, it's there's no place for them to pull in because we've got limited parking.
course.
So
Yes.
people are parking, there, and you can't hold up a space. It's because spaces are so valuable
Of
in
course,
Scariff.
yeah.
And not only that, but when a bus pulls up, it's often happened to us because we've got complaints. Somebody is trying to pull out or get into their car or get
Yeah.
out of their car, and they can't because the bus.
The bus is in the way.
Bus is in
Yeah.
the, now look, it might only be 2 or 3 minutes, but
Yeah. Some people have no patience. Yeah.
exactly, and it is. It's not ideal by any means, but like that parking or a bus stop has
Yeah.
to be incorporated
Yeah. It
somewhere
has.
into the plan.
A sit
And-
down and a pick up area. It does.
Correct,
Because
and even with the smaller buses, we all know that they've no place to pull in, and they just
No.
pull in at the back of the Market House, which is on the road as
It
well.
is,
So
Or else they're kind of parked where you turn up.
that's what
there.
Claire's just saying.
yeah,
in the corner.
exactly, yeah. So look, it's not ideal, but there are no vacant spaces for the buses
Yeah.
to pull in, and obviously,
And there
it
are a lot
has.
of buses coming through Scariff
Yeah.
in the past 12 months. A lot of buses.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
look, it's great that it does provide, an access, to people, and
course.
if you think about it as well, I mean, those buses, while they're great, a lot of people use them to commute, and they park their cars in Scariff for the day.
Yeah. Which
That
is
To
does
not,
bring
happen
them
a lot.
out of Scariff,
which
so
is
it's not,
not ideal.
Look at-
Yeah.
No.
And you kind of go, look, could you park? Don't park on the green. Could you park somewhere else,
Yeah.
a little bit out
Off
of the
the
town,
street.
just
Yeah.
so that,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I suppose staff, maybe some of the businesses are doing the very same.
And we're hoping, look, if the car park is there, while I know people will say it's not ideal for people to bring, if they have got groceries and stuff, to bring it down, and we understand that. So what we would be hoping is that the employees of the businesses would park down there and leave the
Leave the car-
spaces on the street
Yeah.
for, as we all do,
yes,
pop
for
in and pop out.
customers,
yeah.
You go into any, you go into the shop, in any of the shops, and it's 2 or 3 minutes pop in and pop
there's
out.
no long term.
No, and if we could just get the long-term cars off the street and
Yeah,
into that car
of
park,
course,
that would, I mean, there's 44 car parking spaces, 4 of them are EV, and that's another major job because at the moment there isn't enough power down there to power 4
Okay.
cars. There's also going to be 2 accessible parking bays
In the car
in the
new
car park, which
okay.
leaves 38 general car parking spaces.
Okay.
And like 38 car parking spaces in Scariff would be, an additional. There's talk, obviously, with the phase 2 and phase 3 that we will lose car parking spaces, but we're trying to basically
Negotiate.
Yeah.
tweak,
Tweak it there.
tweak those so that we don't. I mean, obviously, with this, there is the plan that there is going to be a loss of car parks, car parking spaces, but. I mean, the way Scariff is at the moment, we need the ones that we have in addition to the 38
course,
general
yeah.
ones,
Yeah.
and that's
we don't need to lose any.
No, absolutely not. But
No.
that's what it is. Look, we've been fighting for a car park for gosh, my God,
As long
about
as we
10
can
years.
remember,
Yeah,
yeah.
as long as I can remember, and finally it's gotten over the line, which is huge. And there are very few areas around Scariff that are actually suitable for a car park because you have to have it pretty much
Pretty
in the
near.
centre
Of
of the
course,
town.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you think of all the businesses around, there really isn't, like, so when the Merryman came up for sale, it was just ideal, like, you know, the fact.
Right in the centre.
Right in
Right,
the centre.
yeah,
And then obviously with the area at the back of Max as well, that was.
And it's not that far to walk from the car park.
No,
really,
and
in
look,
fairness.
we've all said it, we're just so used in Scariff
Yeah.
of parking outside the door.
Yeah.
We're so used to it. And as somebody said to me, we go into Limerick and Ennis and we
Yeah.
could park. We could 10 minutes away from where we want
Absolutely.
to go,
And
and
we've
there's
no
no
issue.
problem.
I think
And
nothing
there's
of
no
it.
Yeah, but
problem.
we think in Scariff you can park outside the bank
Did you?
and
Yeah.
go to the petrol machine, and then
Exactly.
you'll come up to Joyce, and then you come up
Over to Ted's.
But you
and
want to be
yeah.
able to
Yeah.
park
Yeah.
outside
What
all
you-
of them.
What you mean I have to park outside the bank
Yeah.
and walk
Walk,
all
yeah.
the way
Yeah.
up the town? And again, and I don't know if anyone has wondered, it will be a free car park. It will not be metered.
Excellent.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
So while there will probably be barriers there, obviously to stop overnight campers and stuff like that, but it will be a free car
Okay.
park. So
And the signs that went up, which were absolutely such a waste of time and space, 3 hours parking in Scariff right outside in some of the streets, it was total waste of
Correct.
council money. I spoke to the council worker one day who was doing it, and I said, is that going to be enforced? And he looked at me and left.
yeah.
What's the point, like?
You see, the thing about it is, from what we've been told, is that it is an EU directive.
So
And
they have
they
to
have
go up.
to
Tick
go
the
up.
boxes.
So
Yeah.
we were saying, like, we at the time when they were put up, we were going, surely you don't expect the community council to enforce this.
Yeah, who's going to
And
do
the
that?
council were saying, well, the guards should enforce it. And the guards were saying, we don't have the manpower. So
Yeah.
while the signs went up, there was nobody, you know, and then there was talk about a traffic warden coming out to Scariff for 2 hours. And I said, oh
It's
my
all we'd
God.
need.
You know, so look at, while they went up, we all knew that
Yeah.
there was no way that they could
Should never
be
be enforced.
enforced.
But they
Yeah.
ticked a box.
Yeah.
They had them up and they
Yeah.
ticked
Yeah.
a box. And I mean, I'd say if you ask most people that live around this area, if there was a 3-hour car parking limit at Scariff, I'd say they don't even know about it.
No.
you
Oh, I
know,
wouldn't think
you
so.
know, because it's not.
Yeah. And I
it's not
probably
a
wouldn't have seen it, but he was putting it up right the day I was passing. Yeah. And
Yeah.
another thing too, up outside centre of the Green, there isn't any wheelchair space in the Green. I know
Correct.
there's one outside Harry's, there's one outside the Doctors, and there's one outside what used to be Supermax. But
And there's one outside the bank down there
Yes,
as well. Yeah,
sorry,
but
there
they're
is,
the four.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But could I stress that those
Sure.
are actually courtesy car park, wheelchair accessible.
what
They're
did you
not.
explain?
So they're not painted blue.
Okay.
So if you park there, I'm just running into the post office
Okay.
to drop in a letter. People do that,
Yes.
and it's not enforceable legally as a parking fine,
Okay.
because they're not blue. So what they are, they're courtesy spaces to ask the driver, or to ask car owners,
Okay.
please be mindful, maybe not
Okay.
park here.
Yeah.
If you can get
Because
somebody
somebody
else.
If you
else-
let
somebody else
somebody
that
else
really
who
needs
needs
it.
it to
Okay.
park there, but they're not legally enforceable,
Okay.
accessible bays. But like that, we're all conscious
Of course.
Oh, you
of
do,
not
yeah.
parking there.
Yeah.
But you know,
Now, I do know
that's it.
somebody that parked in the one outside Supermax, where Supermax was, and got a fine that the traffic.
Really?
The traffic corps were passing, and she got a fine in the post.
Yeah.
For
Oh.
parking in a wheelchair accessible spot, and she had no sticker.
And she'd no sticker.
No sticker.
And that was like I said, just the fact
Yeah.
that somebody happened to be passing by,
Yeah.
and it was
Yes.
the traffic
Yeah, it was
corps.
just
Yeah.
In the wrong place, the wrong time.
Correct.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
In the wrong place, the
absolutely.
wrong time.
Yeah.
And so, okay, that's interesting.
So
Of course,
that's-
everybody's going to be parking in the now.
No, well, like
Somebody got a parking fine in Scariff.
exactly. So there you go. It's probably the first one. But
Yours-
like, because we queried that before, because when the new plan was put in place,
Yeah.
I think there's about 7 accessible parking bays, and that was brought that there. We asked if they were going to be courtesy or actual blue, legally binding or
Yeah,
whatever,
wheelchair spots.
and that's what we were told, that
Okay.
the ones that are there are courtesy parking.
So we needn't
spaces.
feel too guilty. So if we're going into the post office,
Well, you
we park in
still
the wheelchair
feel
spot,
guilty.
Harry's
You
and
shouldn't be
running.
parking there.
As long as there's no guards passing
Yeah,
by.
as long as the traffic corps isn't parked
the
or
traffic
passing,
corps
yeah,
is not
you'll be
there, yeah,
grand,
we're
you'll be grand, you'll be grand. Look, everyone does it, and it's just, you know, I'll be out in 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
and it's literally but I mean, like I said, just be mindful.
Oh
that's all
yeah.
it is,
I mean, don't park there for an hour or two.
Correct,
Whatever, get your hair
correct.
done or nails
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, correct, yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, Claire. So getting back to the swim, Christmas Day. Mountshannon Pier at
11 o'clock. And
Dip in the Derg.
yeah, absolutely. And obviously come down a little bit early if you want to, and maybe stay afterwards for a hot beverage just to pop before you pop off home and
What else would
get
you
your
want
day
Christmas
started.
morning?
Exactly.
And listen, thanks very much for the
No
Community
problem.
Council for all the work you do,
Yeah.
and well done,
Thank
the car
you.
park has started. The Mayor, Claire, has just entered the building, so I'm sure he'll have something to tell us all about. The questions you couldn't answer, Claire, we'll have.
Oh yeah, we can hop off him. Exactly.
Claire,
exactly.
happy Christmas to
Many
everyone at the
happy
Community
returns
Council,
to
and
all.
Thanks
Thanks a
very much.
million.
Thanks very much.
Take
Dip in the
care.
Derg.
Thank you.
Thanks, Claire. Cheers.